Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 6.
Excited.
Wow. Just the consistency and the content we're putting out there. It invigorates me, honestly. And I think you could probably even say the same for yourself.
Absolutely, man. It's definitely been very fulfilling to see all the responses, and every time we're excited to come back and pour more and change some lives and situations along the way. So it's exciting and ready to go.
Let's do it, man. So a couple of topics I have pre-made already. The first one really hit home for me. So it was all over the news. An actor named Chadwick Boseman. He played the Black Panther. Have you seen like the superhero movies?
Yeah. I've seen that, and then 21 Bridges.
Yes, absolutely.
A great actor.
Great actor.
Great human being.
Absolutely. And I was devastated to know that he passed at 43, by the way, which is really relatively young. And I was then digging deeper into what happened, and I was just overwhelmed. So the best way to summarize it is Chadwick Boseman was battling colon cancer the entire time for 4 years now. So while he was shooting Black Panther, while he looked like that, with the muscle gains and whatnot, and going to these shows and, again, fulfilling his purpose in life, which was passion and acting, secretly was battling colon cancer. And I was so inspired, honestly.
Well, think about it. Battling cancer, nobody knowing, and the man is out there just being the best version of himself, knowing he was battling inside. I think that's very powerful, Seth, because it makes you understand that a lot of the times we go in life and we complain about so many things, right? As we grasp, the environment, and we allow minimal things to bother us. We complain about minimal things, and those are testament to moments that we gotta understand that we're here today. We don't know where we're going to be later or tomorrow. Appreciate life, value life, spend time with your loved ones. Be the best version of yourself, because there might not be a tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
There may not be a tomorrow, and it's what you're doing today that is going to matter. And stop complaining.
Yes.
Stop complaining and start being grateful for the opportunity you have today, and go out and be the best version of yourself. Don't say, I'll do that tomorrow, because nobody guarantees you're going to be here tomorrow. Think about this guy, 4 years battling colon cancer. I'm sure he didn't feel good.
No.
I'm sure he was dealing with so much internally, but he stuck it out, man, and nobody knew about it. I saw him. I would never would think that the guy was ill, but look at him. He had so much success on his movies, so much messages across with his movies, and the man was inside battling with his life, but yet he went out and he was the best version of himself. So it's just one of those moments to really wake up, reevaluate ourselves, and stop procrastinating and stop complaining, and let's go out and be the best versions of ourselves on a daily basis, guys.
Yeah.
Every single day.
And I want to add, like, for me, when I saw this, I was thinking, like, everyone has a purpose God put them on life for, right? On earth for. And I know you talk about that a lot as well. Like, this is, what we're doing now is part of, like, God's purpose of why we're here on earth, to impact.
Absolutely. Change people's lives.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like, of Chadwick Boseman, like, man, like, the guy, he fulfilled that purpose 100% through, like, cancer didn't stop him.
Yeah.
He was out there to make change, make movies, and even outside of the movies, the guy was just, I was looking at clips of him, and just a genuinely, I would imagine something so impactful like cancer is going to change your perspective on life, and you can, take it with a negative approach or a very positive approach, and just seeing the content that he was putting out there.
I think he was living his life to his fullest because he knew that he was battling, but he took it the right way. He says, I'm sure, and I'm thinking this way, is he probably made a decision when he found out that he was just going to go out there and continue to live life and not knowing how long he was going to be around, but he just wanted to live life at his fullest. And I think he did a phenomenal job, because we've experienced, seeing him and seeing his movies and the messages and the impact he made, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my condolences to his family, his loved ones.
Absolutely. Same here.
Yeah. And even his fans, because I know a lot of people are hurting, but I think you summarized in a great way to take a very strong, positive approach and dissect it in a great way.
Yeah, a very physically and mentally a tough dude.
Yes. Yeah.
God bless him, and God bless his soul.
Absolutely. Wow. So I do want to move to the next topic, and it kind of goes with that. I like how you said empowering and fulfillment. And I've said this to you before, and I'm a strong believer that you and Sandra have just something like this powerful God-given power. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it just I see you guys feeding off each other, the empowerment of one another. I was hoping you could go in, especially for the listeners who are, again, in relationships, significant others. Like, this is a big topic, right? So Tony Robbins, by the way, I saw a clip, talks about being present. He says that in order to be a fulfilling partner, you have to be present, 100% present, meaning 100% listening, 100% there for them. And I was hoping you can kind of dive into what that means to you and between you and Sandra and how you guys empower one another.
Being there 100%, I think that's one of the challenges that we all have, right?
Yeah.
But I've been working on that for several years, and I think I do much of a better job nowadays that I used to do on the past. And this comes all with, again, understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And self-awareness, because a lot of time, if we don't know it and we're not self-aware about it, we ain't gonna do anything about it. But our relationship, we just had our 19th anniversary last week, and
congratulations.
It's a blessing, man. Obviously, a lot of ups and downs like anything else. But I feel that every single year we have become stronger on our communication and stronger, I think, of understanding each other and understanding that we both have our own dreams, our own goals, and we both want to fulfill our own souls. Like, we want our kids to be happy. We want to have a beautiful lifestyle for them so that they could be proud of mom and dad. But at the end of the day, we want to fulfill each other's soul so that we could be our best version of ourselves with each other. So, having a good communication line is huge because I need to know what she likes. I need to know what she is happy with, and I need to know what fulfills her so that I can be present and I can support her on what her decisions are that make her happy as a human being. She's a happy mother. She's a happy wife. But what makes her, outside of that, fulfill herself as a human being, right? How do I feel good about myself where I can come back and pour that into my kids, my husband, my lifestyle? And again, I think, me getting better at being a good listener and being present allows me to really dig deep and start asking more deeper questions that I think has, within time, allowed our relationship to really get stronger because I'm a better listener. And obviously, at the same time, I like to dig deep into what really fulfills her and be there to support her, obviously, on her decisions that fulfill her. So it's a learning process like anything else. And it's been 19 years of trying to understand each other. And again, it's been a lot of up and downs, but I think over the course of the 19 years, we're getting better. We're getting better, and our relationship gets stronger, and we start to learn more from each other, and we start to figure each other out a little better.
So for the audience that are wondering, because I'm wondering myself, and I know it sounds like a really straightforward question, but like, how do you open up that communication channel? Like, what is it? Is it a sit down? Is it
I think it's situations that happen. For me, that's been my experience. Situations, maybe problems. Through a problem, we have actually grown. Through marital issues, not understanding each other at some point, and having actually a problem, a big problem that raised up where we figured out should have never been a problem. It should have never got this far if we would have just communicated with each other. And I would understand that this bothers you or that this bothers me. And how can I understand her more? And at the same time, how can I dig more deep? Because if you really think about it, sometimes in relationships, we just kind of go over, we just kind of top to top. We don't dig deep because we don't want to ask questions that we don't want to hear the answers that you might think are going to come out. But I think that's when you truly dig deep and you start really understanding more each other.
That's where the real progress is made.
That's been my experience, is we start understanding each other more, and we start accepting each other more on the way we are, because I'm not trying to change her, and then she's not going to try to change me on the way we are, is we start accepting each other. And yes, through the process, we accept the areas that we know we need improvement on, and we work on those areas to improve each other. But it's just, again, it's going more deeper into the questions and the discussions as to really what fulfills each other.
Wow. And essentially, because I was thinking, like, when you were giving the example right now, which was, I even like for jobs, some people will only do the minimum requirement, right?
Right.
And I was thinking, like, the same time when you're talking about the marriage and getting deeper, like, you
Right.
can't just do the minimum requirements, right? You can't just go, well, I made dinner, I took the kids to work or school, and, so forth, so forth. I'm done. I did my duties, right?
And see, that's the problem, I think, is we're never willing to go the extra mile, right?
Yeah.
And you think about it, if you do that in one area, it's most likely you're going to do it in all areas of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And right now, when you said that, me and Sandra, as two young kids at 18, 19, when we met each other, we had something in common, and we talk about it. We were the employees that would show up first and that would leave last, meaning we would be the employees when we used to work on 9 to 5s or on our minimum wage employments, jobs, as we were the employees that we would show up, we would do more than they expected us to do, and we would leave after everybody else would leave. So, and I think that's just one of the things that we have been able to really pour into other areas of our lives, Seth, that I think has made a difference as to the progress we've had in life, right?
Yes.
From having 10 kids to building a successful business to having a good household to having, in a way, a lifestyle very well set up. It's because we're willing to go the extra mile, not just do enough.
Yes.
But we're willing to pay the dues and do the extra to build progress and to get us to the next level on whatever that we're working on, because we feel and we know that just doing enough isn't going to be enough to succeed in life.
Correct. And like, I love how you're saying that, because it's just, I see so many people that apply that metaphor into many aspects of their life, whether that's fitness, their relationship, their mental health, their spiritual health, where they're only, again, you were saying, like, they're just doing the minimum.
Right.
Like how you were saying with you and Sandra, even as 9 to 5ers, you guys were the first ones in and last ones out. And that character, that's like a depiction of character. It sounds like to me that she and you were both applying that to all aspects of your life. Yeah. It's kind of nice to know that, like, hey, I'm going to get in a relationship with a significant other, that she's probably willing to put in more work and more time and more of that dedication that she already showed in her, work life into this relationship.
Right. But sometimes we forget, though. And we forget. And again, it's creating self-awareness about it, right? Understanding, am I doing it or am I not doing it? Mm-hmm. And if I'm not doing it, I need to be self-aware about it so that I actually do something about it and I create growth and progress from it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. So basically, don't half-ass anything on that end.
That's the way I look at it, man. Don't half-ass stuff. There's too many half-assers out there. Yeah. It's not that difficult to be that guy who's willing to go the extra mile, do the extra thing. I remember I used to be criticized by my peers, employees, that they would laugh at me and tell me, why do you do that, man? That's not part of your job. And I'm like, why wouldn't I do it? Somebody has to do it. If you're not doing it, then I'm going to do it, because otherwise the boss is going to show up later. He's going to be pissed off because nobody did it. It took me 5 minutes extra to do it. Why not?
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But again, it's mental attitude as to how do I approach life, right? How do I see things? Why would I just do enough? Enough isn't going to get me to where I want to go in life. I want to build big things. I want to be different. I don't want to be just like everybody else. How do I separate myself from everybody else? Is by not just doing enough like everybody else is.
Wow.
Do you see what I'm saying?
100%.
It's that's what's going to separate you in life from everybody else, depending on what you decide to do. And I always have this discussion with my kids. Hey, if you do the same as everybody else does, you're just going to be the same like everybody else. Or you're going to be the guy that does the extra work, and you will separate yourself at some point from everybody else.
Wow.
Where do you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you choose to be like everybody else, that's your choice. If that makes you happy, so be it.
Yes.
But if you want to separate yourself and be the best at what you do, you have to be willing to do more than what everybody else is doing.
Wow. And I kid you not, you read my mind or something, because the next topic I was actually going to talk about, because we talked about Sandra now, is talk about your kids as well. So for the audience that doesn't know, if this is your first time listening, you have 10 kids.
I do, man, and I very proudly say that.
Yeah.
Because and we'll go into the question, and people that knows me and hears my podcast, or that knows about Ricardo and Sandra running successful real estate business, we've been doing it consistently for now 15 years.
Yes.
It's not easy, man. It's not easy because it's not just the business or businesses. It's 10 kids.
Yes.
10 kids, and we're not your typical traditional family in that sense. We're out of the ordinary.
Yes.
We're not ordinary. We're extraordinary, and that's just a bigger commitment in life, and it's a bigger commitment to me as a person that is sharing messages, that I'm trying to impact the world with my message, with my experience of life and our experience as a family. We're not just sharing business experiences. We're sharing life experiences. Yes. And one of those biggest testaments is it's 10 kids, children. A family of 10 kids with businesses and so much going on. But yet, how do we impact our society, our community, based on the fact that we're just another family, like everybody else's, just with a little more workload on us.
Yes.
And we still get it done. And we don't have an insane lifestyle. We actually have a very sane lifestyle, but it all was created based on understanding the importance. And obviously, it wasn't built just by default. It was all built by design.
Yes.
And we're excited to continue to share through this channel, because I think we're going to continue to impact so many different families in so many areas, and we're just happy and excited to share.
Yeah. Before I go into the question, actually, I'll tell you, like, some of my clients, or some of your colleagues, or even just my friends and peers, I tell them about you, and they go, "Wow, how does he balance the business and 10 kids?"
Right.
I go, "Man, like, if you saw his routine, his discipline, and not only that, but the relationship with the kids is very powerful. I've seen it myself."
Yeah.
And so I was just, I mean, kudos to you.
And I think that's where the question was going, right? How's your relationship with your kids? It's getting better every single day, Seth. Yeah. It gets better. Obviously, I'm a father, 19 years married to Sandra, 10 kids. It's getting better every single day. I'm becoming a better father every single day. But it's because I work on myself. Do you see what I'm saying? It just doesn't happen. I work on it because I want to be a better parent. I read more. I understand more. I have more time to be a good listener to my kids. Understand that every single one of them is different personalities. I have to approach them differently. I have to be able to listen to them more. I have to be able to improve our relationship based on understanding what's the best communication level with this one versus that one. Which one needs more of my attention? Yes. Which one is more self-sufficient, where I don't have to be as much with him than this other one? But again, it's a learning process. Am I getting better? Absolutely. Why? Because I'm working on it. Again, it just doesn't happen just because it happens. I'm eager to to become a better father. I'm eager to become a better husband. I'm eager just to become a better human being, and that's why I work on it on a daily basis. Yeah. People ask me, "Hey, why do you wake up so early?" Because of that matter. Yeah. I need to work on self-development. I need to read books. I need to listen to audio. I need to study other people. I need to learn and become better so that I can come in and plug that progress of myself as a human being right into my environment, right into my sphere, right into my core family principles, so that I could, be that person and that role model that I want to be for my kids.
Mm-hmm. We were talking earlier with Pablo, who's off camera again, but he's just soaking up this entire knowledge, I bet, right now. And one of the things that I really liked when you were speaking was talking about failure, even on your end as a parent.
Yes.
And how you've adjusted. I was hoping you could maybe share some of that on the camera with us.
I was raised, just and I think we touched on that, and I won't go so deep, but I was raised very hard. Like, my parents were hard on me, especially my father, just a very hard individual with us. And I thank him for that, because he made me who I am. But along the way, obviously, I picked up a lot of that. I've been a very hard dude as well, just very hardcore, but I loosened that up a lot. I've loosened up a lot in that sense, because the Ricardo before years ago, I was really hard on not accepting failure, on not accepting the fact that you have to fail in order to learn. I didn't want to fail. Failure was not something that I wanted to hear at all. I always wanted to win. I always wanted to win. And not understanding that the failures were part of the process, and failures had to happen in order for me to excel and grow. So it's one of those things that it has taught me in so many aspects of my life, because, my kids are growing. I have young ones and I have teenagers, and they make mistakes. So I have to accept the fact that they're going to make mistakes. I have to be able to be patient and sit down with them and discuss the situation that happened, not focused on the outcome of what happened, but what was the learning experience from it?
Yeah.
How are we going to learn from this situation, so that we're able to make sure next time around, when you're facing that same situation, how are you going to approach it differently, so that we have a different outcome? So it's been an evolving process for sure.
Yeah, I can tell you, like, just when you were speaking, because part of the question was going to be, because I've seen your relationship with your kids. They're not they treat you as a leader, as a father, but I feel like they can also come to you and speak to you on a deep level of saying, this is what's bothering me, Dad. This is where I'm going with my life. And I feel like when you're just hard on your kids, they might even fear that sometimes, right? Of coming to you and really opening up, saying, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I failed, and so forth. Because if they were feared of the fact that they failed, they might disappoint you, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that being a father and a role model to them, to a certain point, they're always very cautious, because they don't want to, kids want to make you proud,
of course,
as a parent, and my kids always want to do things to make me feel proud, and again, as learning and maturing over time, our communication, like I told you earlier, it's getting better and better, because we're working on it. Therefore, I'm becoming a better father. But going there, yes, it's definitely the experience of being able to know that your kids could come to you and talk to you and explain to you certain things that are happening. As they get older, it becomes a little more complicated, because their life starts changing. But I want to have that open line of communication with them. And we do have a good line of communication open, and I like where things are going, where they're at. But again, I'm working because I want them to be even better. I want that line of communication. I have my older 3, and then I have my 7 younger ones. So I want to be able to do better job with my younger 7 than I did with my older 3. And that's what really drives Ricardo every single day, to just be better, because there's a core foundation at home that needs the better version of me in all aspects. And that's why I'm obsessed, man, with just getting better, because there's reasons why, and there's generations that follow this from what I'm building. We're the pillar of the new generations that are coming. So when I live here, this earth, I want to make sure that I set a good fundamental structure to this generation for the next ones to come. And that's my commitment to life.
Before I move on to the next, I was hoping you can give me some tips, right? Because, I don't have kids yet, but I'm soaking in everything you say, because I want to be able to apply this, basically learn from your mistakes, in a short way of saying it, and, become even better at it. What would be some of your tips on how you empower your kids? Like, maybe is it like words of affirmation? Are you empowering them through words? Is it through action? Could you give me some examples possibly?
I think it's a combination of both. is I empower them through experiences.
Okay.
We work out together.
Yes.
We go through some tough workouts. And what I tell them is that we're building character. Do you see what I'm saying? Is I used to be a physical labor guy.
Okay.
All right. I learned hard work through physical labor. Do you see what I'm saying? I became a tough dude because of situations in my life, physical work, labor work as a young kid. I had to labor since I was young.
Yes.
Okay. That was just my environment. They're not going to have to labor because they're growing up in a different environment. But, through workouts, through situations and experiences, we discuss how they're building their mindset based off of the workouts and based on how they push their bodies and their mind to that next level, that they're actually laboring through workouts and they're becoming mentally strong to deal with life, situations, problems, disappointments, depression, and so many things that we're facing as a society. So it's a way of building them up mentally within the environment, and I lead them through example by being there with them.
Yes, working out with them.
By working out with them, and by me also going through challenges as we're going. And it's fun because we challenge each other. There's days that they don't feel like it, or they don't feel like being there, or they don't feel like doing it, but I empower them. I pump them up. I help them out mentally, get them through their workouts. And there's days that I don't feel like it, Seth, but you know who gives me that energy?
The kids.
They do.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just that environment where we feed off each other's energy, where we feed off of each other's energy. We try to be positive. We try to empower each other. We try to basically build our character and build our confidence together as a family, as a group, so that we can build up from that.
I mean, you say it all the time. You're a product of your environment.
Yes.
And it's so much easier to get out of a funk or get in the modes where you're saying where you don't want to work out. It's so much easier to go, you know what, I can do this, when everyone else in the environment is the same mindset, which is we all want to get better.
Yeah.
So, hey, I know you're not feeling great today, but go ahead and just push whatever you have.
My 5-year-old that works out with us, and even my 7-year-old, I see them and they empower me, man. They give me energy. They're working out with a good attitude. They're pushing. Man, it's such a fulfilling moment to see, man, my 7-year-old at his age, he's working out. He's pushing himself. He's positive despite the fact that he's suffering through the exercise.
Yes.
And he's staying positive. Man, they teach me so much about life.
Yes.
About situations, about complaining for certain things that I'm just very grateful to have that opportunity. And my commitment is it's back to them. Is I need to be there with them. I can't let them down.
Yes.
They look up to me. So that's what drives me, obviously, to make sure, man, these kids are looking up to me. They're looking up to Sandra. They're looking up to us as parents, and they want to be like us. They want to become like us. So we have to be those role models that they deserve to have, and that even though we don't feel like it, or we want to do something we're not supposed to do, you got to understand somebody is watching.
Responsibility.
You.
Wow.
Somebody is watching you.
Wow. Awesome. All right. So I want to use that to change gears. We put up on Facebook, and we got actually quite a bit of comments of requests that we go over on our podcast. And I think it'd be a disservice not to, request and go through them. So the first one I want to go through is actually Johnny Maldonado. Awesome guy.
Hey, Johnny. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Awesome guy. Remax, North Fontana. He's just a genuine cool guy. And he actually asked 2 parts. The question has 2 parts to it. So the first piece was, I mean, heck, you're one of the top realtors in the entire United States. Your team's ranked number 2 in Central 21. And he was wondering how, you just remain so humble, so grounded. And I agree with him. You are just so grounded, Ricardo. It's amazing to see that. And also how you've balanced it, like we were talking about earlier. How did you balance the time with the family, the wife, the business, your personal development? Could you go into that?
Sure. I'll go in on the balance portion, and I think a lot of people will agree and disagree, and I think we all have our own opinions. Not that somebody's right and somebody's wrong. It's just different mentalities, right, on what works for each other. But if we talk about balance, it was built by design. And again, I talked about that earlier. Obviously, my life wasn't as balanced as it is right now, but I work through it to build it to where I'm at now. And when it comes down to balances, I'm very precise with my schedule, man. I'm super diligent with my schedule. We were talking about it off camera, what time I wake up, what time I go to sleep. And I keep adjusting it depending on what priorities I have on that set moment in my life, right? It's from building business to now having a established wealth, fundamental business. My lifestyle changes. It changes based on priorities. At the beginning, my schedule and my balance was not there because we were trying to build a business. I get to a point where my business is built, established. Now I can readjust and make some changes so that I can work on the areas that I feel that have been unworked on.
Yes.
Right? We talked about it. Relationship.
Yes.
Kids. Time. Freedom for things that become priorities. So my balance right now is I touch in all areas, man. That's the Ricardo of today. The Ricardo of 7-8 years prior to this, it was about building business and building a financial lifestyle for freedom of financial lifestyle. But it gets to a point where you get to a certain point where you already fulfill an area, and then you go back, and this was me, and then you go back and you analyze and you understand what areas am I lacking. And then I start touching on those areas. So I feel that we have a very well-balanced life now based on the fact that I touch on all the areas that are important to me, which is my personal time with my kids, my personal time with Sandra, my personal connection with God, my time at work to develop and continue to grow my company. So I'm able to break down my day on slots based on priorities, based on what needs the most from me and what area I need to make sure that I work on that is in an unbalanced area. So it's being very disciplined, Johnny, with your schedule and having your schedule very well understandable as to what's priority, and that you have your slots within your day that you're putting in those priorities into your day, and you're touching those priorities because those are the areas that fulfill you and the you now.
Yeah, you've said this before, and I'm a firm believer in live your life by design.
Yes.
Right? Which is...
It's not by default.
Yeah.
A lot of times, as we don't understand that, we really don't get to understand is people's situation and lifestyle is not just because everything just fell there and it just happened.
Yes, yeah.
The work behind it, it was a process that got them there, and they built it and designed it to that. And my family worked, Sandra and the entire family has worked to get ourselves into this operation or this schedule or this lifestyle based on working it based on priorities, making adjustments, and creating, obviously, that lifestyle by how we wanted it to build it.
Yeah, so basically it sounds like you defined the perfect lifestyle and then you reverse engineered it from there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Wow, powerful. Very powerful.
And we keep working at every single day like anything else. It's not that it's already figured out. It's not that it's already done. We're working on it every single day.
Yes.
Because we want to improve it and we want to obviously get better at it.
The second part of the question I want to go into, because I've always admired this about you, and you talk about how you and your family are just like everybody else. There's nothing, extraordinary in the sense of, special talents or whatever. You guys are like any other family. Anyone can literally take your formula and do what you and your family are doing.
Yeah.
Because that was the second part of the question is, how do you stay so grounded? What could you go into your mindset on that?
I think I owe it to this big word, and I use it a lot. It's gratitude.
Yeah,
I'm very grateful. I deserve, but but I have gratitude. I'm not the guy that I think I deserve everything without earning it. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times we get mistaken. We feel that we deserve everything, that we deserve. And I know I'm going to deserve it when I put in the work. But if we go back to how do I stay grounded, it's just by gratitude. I'm very grateful to have what I have. I'm very grateful to life. I'm very grateful to God. And I think that's what keeps my spirit humble, where, I try to stay as simple as possible, and stay obviously grounded through gratitude from knowing that God gave me all of this and God could take it away. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I stay obviously just with that gratitude every single day. And I stay connected to my faith, but with that gratitude, man, that I'm very grateful to be where I'm at and just grateful to life.
I want to repeat what you just said because I hope Pablo wrote it down, and I want to make a whole video on it. Grounded through gratitude.
Yeah.
That is so powerful.
Yeah. And that's the only word. If you say humble, how you stay grounded and humble it's gratitude.
Wow.
Gratitude.
Wow. I'm so glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Johnny, thanks so much. Awesome question, buddy. So let's go into the next part. Next question will be from Lorena Perez, who, by the way, is awesome as well.
Yeah. I admire everything she does as well. She's a hardworking lady.
Definitely.
Very disciplined as well.
Yes.
So very happy to answer her question as well.
Absolutely. She asked how you overcame some of the struggles and you stayed so patient while building your business.
So I was reading her question earlier and I was digesting it and I was living back the moments in my career in real estate and even my current moments on situations that I can apply that question. And I think it's again, having the vision on where I'm going and understanding that there are going to be days that are harder than others. And understanding that if today was a tough day and we had to go through a lot of issues and a lot of struggles, I have the understanding and the faith that tomorrow it's going to be another fresh day and I have the opportunity to start all over again tomorrow and go out and do it all over again tomorrow. I had a vision, I had a plan, and I knew that I was going to get there. And I knew I was going to have to go through the struggle, but I think everything was the mindset of staying positive. Despite everything that happens, I know that the outcome is there, that I'm going to build that, but I have to go through this process, which is going to be the struggles, which is going to be the sacrifices. But having that good spirit and staying positive, that I know that we're going to get there, and tomorrow will be a fresh day where I can start all over again and I can forget about what happened today.
Beautiful. Yeah, we talked about on the last podcast, which was being resilient and then having faith that you're going to reach that, and whatever you're going through now is part of the process.
And for me also is looking at my wife and my kids and saying I can't let them down.
Wow.
They're expecting the best of me. I cannot let them now. I need to get up today and I need to go out and execute to the best of my abilities because they deserve the best of me.
Wow.
And I got to go out and I got to compete with life.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Lorena, again, thanks so much for that question. I hope that answered, and thank you for just putting it out so elaborately. It was awesome. So next part is going to be actually from a lady named Alma. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your middle name here. Nekoichia Rivera.
Yes, I know her.
Yes. So she actually asked, she would like
Hi,
to hear
Alma,
your...
by the way.
Hi there, definitely. She'd like to hear about your Zillow Premier services, if you recommend it or not.
Absolutely. I think it's just another great asset of marketing and lead gen. So if I was you and you're considering spending money towards that, I would spend the money. I think it's a great source. A lot of people is against it. Some people is proactive about it. I would recommend you do so. If you have a good team in place and you built a good, system to service that, I think it's a great asset. So I would highly recommend it for sure.
Wow. Awesome. Next one, man, I tell you, we have some amazing heavy hitters on your comments. These are great people. I know.
I'd love to share with them, man.
Yeah.
All these are people that I know, and if I don't know you, I'll get to know you in the process.
Definitely. Next question was actually from Jose Mares, who I also love. He's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
And he asked,
how you doing, Jose?
He asked what's your monthly marketing budget for all the RE businesses, real estate businesses you run?
Got it. It's it varies, but it's anywhere between 15 and 20,000 a month.
Okay.
Based on everything that we do from marketing to billboards to ads and things of that nature. So anywhere between 15 and 20,000. And it's been obviously, again, years of consistency over the marketing process. It has changed and evolved based on time and involvement, but we're between 15 and 20,000, somewhere in that ballpark.
Tell me, I'm assuming the number has definitely scaled according to your business, correct?
Sure, correct.
So I'm assuming you adapted, of course, as you grew.
Correct.
So for anyone, because I know we have a lot of new listeners or new realtors that are listening to this podcast, what would be your advice to them on their marketing budgets and how they need to appropriate the money accordingly?
Well, at the beginning, there's no money for marketing, right? And I had no money in the beginning. So if we go back really briefly to my beginnings, my marketing was just me going out and meeting people and exposing myself. I was my own marketing guy. I needed to be out exposing myself to the consumer. That became my marketing.
I see.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I wanted to be in people's faces. How did I do that? By door knocking. I was a door knocker. I used to door knock 6 to 7 days a week, man, for hours and hours a day until I started establishing a name in the industry, until I started cashing in some checks. Then the postcards came in. Then my door hangers came in. But I was resilient in the beginning, like we talked about. That is just to get my face out to people so that people could recognize and put my face together to a real estate service company so that people could start relating to me. Nowadays, we have social media and we have so many channels that are free.
Yes.
But what are we really consistently doing to really expose ourselves, right? And utilize the tools correctly to expose ourselves so that we can actually connect with the clients that we're trying to connect.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Jose, again, hey, amazing questions.
Yeah.
Last question is actually going to be from as a Gerard Bueno.
Yes, one of our followers on social media. I haven't had the pleasure to meet Gerard, but he's always very supportive, so we really appreciate you, Gerard.
Awesome. He said, we know your daily schedule in the mornings, which is amazing, he said. But he would like to know more about what your schedule is after that, how you run your day and balance it with your family, after the morning.
Sure. So I break it down, like I said earlier, on slots. I have my morning slot that's all dedicated for personal development and time with my boys. I leave my house at around 8:30. After I'm done with my morning routine, I go into my work mode. So in the morning, I've been able to learn how to disconnect. Okay, and when I say disconnect, I don't check my emails. I don't check social media. I don't check voice messages. I don't check nothing in the morning because I don't want nothing to get in my head before I get into my reading, before I get into my workout, because now you're going to allow the situations of your workday to dictate your morning, because you're allowing the emails or the problems or the situations to dictate your character and your emotions through your morning routine. So I've been able to, I'm not going to say perfection, but I've been able to really, break down my day, understanding what's important and what's not, and how can I get myself in the best state of mind possible so that I can be present as best as possible on what I'm doing.
Wow.
So going to that question and rephrasing it back, the morning is personal development, engagement with my kids and my wife before I leave. After 8:30, I'm in business mode. I go to business, I go to my office, I take care of my calls, I do my follow-ups, I set up my appointments, I go see sellers, I go talk to my agents, I go do what is necessary for business production with my staff and my team, and that's from 8:30 to about 2:30 to 3. I finish my business attachment and my business, environment about 3 to 3:30. Then I come back home and I fully disconnect again from business because now it's family time. I got to take the boys to baseball practices. I got to take them to do that. I got to go out and have dinner with my wife. I got to go do some errands with my wife. I have to do family related stuff with 10 kids plus a wife. So I can be conducting business and doing family stuff because I'm not either there or here. My mind is not connected correctly. Yes. So I've learned that. And again, my schedule can be everybody's schedule the same way because we're all at a different level in our business. But right now, based on that question, it's 3 different slots. It's family, personal development, business, and then family again.
Yes.
I have that short window of time frame of business, but I have to become very productive.
Yes.
Therefore, I'm there to execute business. I'm there to close transactions, help families, and execute those 5 or 6 hours of business hours where I got to execute at my highest level of possibilities because I got to come back home.
Yes.
I got to disconnect from business. I got to allow my team to handle the rest so that I can reconnect with my family and I can be present with them.
Wow. Awesome. Actually, I did miss, looks like we have 2 new questions, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool.
So pretty awesome. I'm excited for this. We have her username on Instagram is punkermichelle1986. So Michelle, I'm assuming would be her name.
Hi, Michelle.
She asked for what's the advice for a realtor wanting to double their business? What are some good marketing strategies?
Marketing strategies, depending on what you're doing. So marketing strategies, I think we touched it already earlier from Jose Mares. It's basically depending on what you're doing that works. Do more of that.
Yes.
Obviously, and add maybe something else as far as marketing goes. But you have social media, Instagram. You have obviously direct mailers. There's so many different channels. But I would tell you, whatever you're doing right now that it's working, add more
double
of that.
Double up on it. Yep,
yes,
exactly.
If it's marketing question.
Yes, 100%.
Right? Activities and then prospecting and building momentum and all those things, that's obviously a separate subject. But if it's marketing related, whatever you're doing right now that is currently working, just do more of that.
Yeah, I can touch in on that too, where
and don't be afraid to spend the money. Because
Yes.
sometimes we're afraid to spend it because we feel, well, what if we don't get it back? Well, if you don't spend it, and you don't consistently spend it, obviously you're not going to see the return.
Wow. I want to add on that too is we talked about it in the last podcast. We get overwhelmed so easily. In the same sense, you can get overwhelmed in the business. It's so easy to say, I'm going to do 5 new marketing strategies and then half-fast all 5 of them.
Right.
Because heck, you can't.
And none of them are going to work.
Yes.
Or you can focus on that one that is already working.
Yes.
You're just doubling down
go
on it.
in on him.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be there.
100%.
Hopefully that answers your question, Michelle.
Last question would be from a person named Henry Park on Facebook.
Okay.
Henry Park asked, how many hours do you work? And you've sort of answered it, actually. It's how many hours do you work a week, work-life balance? And I would like you to answer in the sense of, because we talked about it earlier in the question before, which was earlier when you started your business and then to now how it's changed.
Absolutely. I used to work 16 to 18 hours a day. Now to working about 6 hours a day. So big difference, right? And again, where you're at, where you want to get.
Yes.
And then you start adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
Priorities become priorities. My priorities of 7-8 years ago were not the same priorities as now. Life evolves, family evolves, business evolves. And you start making adjustments and priorities start changing, right?
Yes.
So 16 to 18 hours when I started. I'm doing 6 hours right now. But see, I'm doing more in 6 hours now with the experience that I have and how more productive I am than what I used to do with 16 or 18 hours of my day.
Correct.
Do you see what I'm saying?
So it's a product of all the work you put in.
You start compressing time, and it's one of those things is, I want more time, right? I want to give my family more time, so therefore my working hours continue to compress.
Yes.
Therefore, I have the responsibility to become more productive with less hours worth of work.
Yes. But you cannot do that unless you put in the 16, 18 hours in the beginning.
Yes, and then again, or no, depending on how you look at it. We'll have different opinions. That's my process. That doesn't mean everybody's process is going to be
Correct.
the same, but you have to put in the work in the beginning period, whether it's 16 or 18 whether it's 10 or 12. There's not, again, I'm not that believer also of that 4 hour a week working hours or that program.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm
you're right.
not a believer on that.
I think it goes to opinion, but I'm a firm believer that, who said it, but it was 10,000 hours to master something.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. On anything you do.
Yes.
10,000 hours working on that craft until you actually master that craft.
Correct. And I would argue that you're able to do your 6 hours today is because you've mastered that craft.
That is correct. And I'm continuing to work on it.
Of course.
Because I want to continue to get better at it and even master it more to continue to grow it.
Absolutely. Well, hey, that's all the questions. Hopefully that answered your question, Henry Park, by the way.
That's awesome. Thank you for all the questions, guys, and have an awesome day.
What a powerful podcast today.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Thanks so much. See you guys next time.
All righty.